medical costs here are surprisingly cheap. So I know a lot of people don't have insurance. Right now I don't have insurance and probably should, but I don't. So I got my little back operation. How much was it? And how did it go? We'll see. Right up front, if all you want to know is how much. It's a small surgery on my back, nothing major, probably 10 or 12 stitches, I don't know. Cut's about 3 inches. Was in the operating room, a little under an hour. Doctor, operating room, anesthesia, medicine, bandages, whole thing, total $250. It's an outpatient, so there's no room or anything. It was just outpatient work. $250, pretty cheap. So medical is cheap. The care, depending on the hospital, can be pretty good. The lower hospitals, some of the more public hospitals, farther from the city, the care can kind of, you get what you pay for it sometimes. But the hospital I went to is a medium priced. It was not your big fancy foreigner hospital. It was not the cheap public hospital. It's just a medium priced hospital. Decent enough place. It's been a fun week. Okay, I mentioned I had this little sebaceous cyst on my back. That is just basically ingrown skin. So it's not a big deal. Had it for 18 years. When I first got it, way back when, it swelled up like big. Had like a little hunchback. And went in. The doctor is like this old country doctor. He was like this general practitioner. He's like, yep, that's a sebaceous cyst. And he used a scalpel and anesthesia, but it felt just kind of like he whipped out his pocket knife, cut it, and drained it. It was like no big deal. But yes, he did use anesthetic and a scalpel. He did it properly. But it never completely went away. So I had like this little bitty purple pimple on my back. And my kids called it my alien. So I had an alien on my back for 18 years. Well, recently it started filling up again. And it got messy. It got to where it was like 3 centimeters around, 3 centimeters tall. What is that? 1.5 inches? Whatever. Decent sized. Not giant, but it was a pretty good lump. Melanie was concerned. Wanted me to go to the doctor and get it looked at. She's probably right. I wouldn't have bothered because I've had the thing for 18 years. It comes and goes. I don't care. I should care. She's right. So we go to the doctor, and the doctor's office is like a plain desk. No equipment, no nothing. So they're like, yeah, we'll schedule an operation. We'll go to the hospital. It'll be next week. And I was like, you can't just do this here at the office. Oh, no, we have to do anesthetic. Has to be an operating room. And I'm like, oh, man, this is going to get expensive, And I was like, well, how much do we think? And she goes, oh, total would probably be between 10 and 15,000 pesos. So I'm like, wait, $200 to $300 total? That doctor in the U.S. that just kind of whipped out his knife, he probably charged me about $200 or $300. So, okay, we'll do it. Worst part was I had to get a COVID test. Never had one. And yes, I had to pay them for the privilege of them jabbing a Q-tip into my brain. It is as bad as I expected. I hope I never have to do it again. Actually, they went far enough up that it's like they hit something in my sinuses, I guess, because the back of my eye hurt for hours after the test. I did not enjoy the test. The operation itself, very straightforward, very simple. Getting the required COVID test was a total pain in the ass. I try not to complain too much, but so we go to the hospital. They have a desk on the front porch. You can't get inside without going through this check-in. And they said, oh, you're getting this procedure done tomorrow. You need the COVID test. Wait here. We'll be right with you. An hour later, I'm telling Melanie, I'm like, let's go home. I don't care. I don't want this. I don't care. I'm done. Let's go home. I've been sitting here for an hour. And she's like, well, we need to get this done, you know. Finally, they come out. Now, the doctor told me it was 1,000 pesos for the test. Technically, the doctor was telling the truth. But really, if you look at the definition of a lie, to purposely mislead, she was lying. Because, yes, the test itself was 1,000 pesos, $20. But to get the test, you also have to pay for their whole environmental suit, their whole little, what we call the Tyvek suit, and we call it a shit suit in the Navy because you don't want to know what we were working on when we were wearing that suit. But in any case, the whole Tyvek suit, the mask, the face shield, the gloves, she was all decked out. That cost me 1,500. So they're like, the test is 2,005. And so I told Melanie, I says, well, they've already lied to me about the price. I said, it's only another $30. It's not major money. I said, but they lied to me by 150%. So how much is the operation really going to cost? Because if they lied to me here, I don't trust them. I was like, I'm about done. I try not to be the angry foreigner, but I was kind of done. I was not in a good mood. I try and be nice, but every once in a while, you have a bad day. And she's like, well, we need to get this done. So I made the mistake of saying, if you want to do it, pay her. Otherwise, I'm going the fuck home because I'm done. Well, that was the wrong thing to say because now we get the test, and as we're going home, she is mad because I said I didn't want to get this done. She's like, you're going to blame me? I'm like, no, I'm not going to blame you. There's no blame. She goes, I feel like if it wasn't for me, you would not be getting this done. I said, oh, well, that's true. I wouldn't be getting it done. But I don't blame you. I said, there's no blame. But yeah, I was like, honestly, if it was just me, no, I would not get this done. And she's like, so you blame me? I'm like, no, I don't blame you. You are right. I should get it done, and every reason you say I should get it done is for the right reasons. But if it was just me, I wouldn't bother doing it. So, no, I would not do it if you were not telling me you wanted it done. But I don't blame you. And she's like, that's the same thing. I'm like, no, there's no blame. You are right. It should be done. But I wouldn't do it. So that took a minute. Not really a fight, but it was a discussion. She was like, it was kind of the semantics were off, kind of the concept. I was like, no, there is no blame. There's no blame to be had. You're right. It should be done. But you're also right. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't for you. And she's kind of like, whatever. So we got through that. It was a little weird. You still have communication problems no matter how long you're together. Not a problem. But I can move my arm. See? Woo-hoo! Okay. The operation it's just to remove a cyst. It wasn't major. But it was the doctor and like the anesthesiologist, and there were like 2 or 3 assistants. There was a lot of people in this, and I'm in a whole big operating room. Got the machine that goes ping and all the lights, and it was nuts, man. But the paperwork, oh my God, the paperwork for the operation was one little half page. Name, address. It was like name, address, that's all. They didn't ask my blood type. They didn't ask nothing. 3 pages of paperwork for the COVID test. Why is my computer beeping at me? Yeah, it was like 3 pages of paperwork for the COVID test. Pretty much nothing for the operation. Very bizarre. I do have one concern about the operation. The doctor did say earlier at the doctor's office. Because of COVID, we will not be doing double tables, so it was only one. I'm thinking, wait, would they have two operations in one room? I would hope not, but it's kind of the impression I got. And I'm thinking maybe so, because we were in the operating room, everybody was gowned up. My gown, it's one of those open in the back, you don't want to see actually was big enough to tie around my fat American ass. I was surprised. But they didn't close the door. Shouldn't, I mean, even for cleanliness or privacy or whatever, shouldn't you close the door? Seemed odd, but as I'm walking down the hall, to the woman in the other operating room that I saw much more of than I would have intended to see, my apologies. And congratulations on the new baby. Yeah, they really need to close these doors. Oh my, they don't close the door.
That's the machine that goes bing.
So I'm laying on the table, looking out into the hall. They're cutting away. The shots were like, I mean, the first two shots they jabbed kind of hurt because, well, they didn't even tell me they were doing it. But they did like 6. And by the time they were done with the first couple, I already didn't feel them. So whatever they were shooting in worked. And it felt like they just like grabbed a piece of skin and were just tugging for like 30, 40 minutes. This went on longer than I thought it would. And they showed me what came out of it. It was kind of gross, but it was basically like a medium-sized grape and then 6 or 8 unpopped popcorn kernels. These were the sizes of this white milky mass. And they're like, yes, we're going to take this and show your wife. And I'm like, she really does not want to see that. So they go show her. She's grossed out. She like doesn't even eat lunch later because she was grossed out by it. Why they showed her, I don't know. Then they come back with it in a jar in a solution of some, would y'all like this? And I'm like, what, I'm going to put it on my altar? What? No, I don't need that. What am I going to do with it? Make a necklace out of it? You would think they'd have like hazardous waste disposal or something. I don't know why they wanted to even offer that to us, but there was a mass of stuff that got cut out. Oh yes, during the week after the doctor visit before the operation, this monstrous thing did pop, and it drained massive amounts of like milk. It was weird. No smell. It's not like pus. It's really weird. It was like skin colored. It's very weird stuff. Melanie didn't like doing the cleanup, but I can't reach it, so she had to. The doctor said it was a good thing it popped because it made it easier for them. But they still dug out so much. It was all down almost flat. It was back to normal. I mean, it was really like, I didn't need to get the operation done because it was back to normal. But it probably needed to come out, and I can't believe how much was inside. So Melanie was right, and it should be done. But it went pretty well, and I would expect after the pain meds wear off, I've got this big, knife wound. It would hurt. It never really hurt. It's kind of stings a little. It's been 3 days since I got it done. And the very first day I did take a pain pill because it was kind of bad that first day. And then it was okay. They've got me on this monster penicillin. Oh my God. This is my 3rd week on penicillin out of the last 5 weeks. I've got to quit getting issues. It took 2 weeks to clear up my legs. I was on 2 different prescriptions for the leg, and now I've got penicillin for this. So it's a lot of penicillin. Woohoo. And the price was shocking because we get out and we still haven't got like a total price. They said about what it was going to be. Turns out the doctor is paid separately. I've always heard it's because they don't really pay taxes on it, so they get paid in cash separately. Don't know if that's true. But the doctor was paid $5,000, so right at $100. The hospital, which means the emergency room, the anesthesia, the 3 at least 3 people. I kind of lost track of who was in there. Everything. The hospital got $6,800. So the total price for this, that can't be right. I mean, that was just way too cheap. The total, disregarding the $50 COVID test, because generally that would not be part of it. The total is just under 12,000 pesos. $240 paid for the doctor, the operating room, everything. It's insanely cheap to get medical processed here. It's just, a lot of guys I know self-insure. Now, if you get something major, some big heart attack, cancer, what have you, insurance would be a good thing. But for any of these, and this is, something in the U.S., I hate to think what this would cost. That doctor that did the little cut 18 years ago probably charged me $200 or $300. So this was, $250. I can't really complain. The operation part, checking in, getting it done, checking out, all that was really easy. It was great. The only hang up was the COVID test. For everyone needing a COVID test, it was a total clusterfuck, and it shouldn't have been. After 2.5 years, it should be worked out. So yeah, that part sucked. It really pissed me off because of the inefficiency and just the workers there absolutely just do not give a shit. With what they're getting paid, I can't blame them, but I don't have to enjoy it. So yeah, they didn't care. They were just there processing people, and they didn't give a crap about what they were doing. That was obvious. And the stupid part was we're all on this porch. You can't go inside till you get through them. So there's no semblance of, social distancing. I forgot the word already. Everyone's in a mask, but we're crammed in here. There's people just packed in. But then to get the test, they separate me over by myself, and this lady comes out in the whole spacesuit crap. I'm like, who is that suit for? I've been around all these other people for an hour. Like I said, no semblance of social distancing. Chairs are crammed in there, we're packed in there. There is no social distancing at all. But then they move me off by myself and bring out the spacesuited figure to do the test. I was like, who is the suit for? That was kind of stupid. And I was like, you got to just let that shit go. Because it's just whatever. It's a stupid rule. It's not my rule. Just follow it. But I'll laugh at it. I go, I'm leaving going, that was some really stupid ideas on how they did it. Not my job to change it. They don't care about my opinion, so there's no sense in complaining about it. But I'm going to laugh at the stupidity of it. So because of this big, thick bandage on my shoulder, I have not been moving my arm a lot. This is the most I've moved it in 3 days. But I put on a shirt because we went to go meet a subscriber for lunch. Thank you, John and Teresa. Melanie loves her refrigerator magnet. She really does. We had a good time. It was good to get out of the house because I wasn't sure if I could move. And it was a little tender by the end of by the end of lunch. I was kind of like, get this shirt off of me. So it's not bad. It's healing. We're okay. We have a waterproof bandage on it for showering. So everything went fine. Good medical care is available here, depending on where you live and how far you're willing to go and what you're willing to pay. But for this little operation, the price was great. The care was good. There were some little hiccups with a COVID test, but hey, such is life. I know a lot of guys here with no insurance because medical and dental are really, really inexpensive. It's very cheap. So probably should get insurance. Couldn't argue that really. You should. Maybe one day I will.
Enjoy your day in paradise.